And lastly, I'll recognize the gentleman from Idaho, Mr. Labrador, who is the sponsor of H.R. 1294.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ranking Member Grijalva, for convening this hearing today. I would like to welcome distinguished guests that we have from Idaho today who will be on the next panel. Commissioner Skip Brandt, who is testifying at this hearing. Commissioner Brandt has been a critical component to the legislation from its initial inception. Mr. Chairman, the concept of H.R. 1294, the Self-Sufficient Community Lands Act, was brought to me by a bipartisan group of county commissioners in my state. We worked closely with them to develop this legislation, and I believe it will prove to be a viable solution to the Secure Rural Schools SRS program. In Idaho, the economies of rural communities once relied upon the timber industry for job creation and tax revenues. Over the last several decades, radical environmental groups have hindered the ability to develop timber from our public lands. Counties that were once dependent upon timber receipts to fund schools, roads, and daily operations were left desolate and broke. I am pleased to introduce legislation to help counties make up for lost timber revenue and help replace the SRS program. In a time of record deficits, we must stop providing short-term fixes to our financial woes and concentrate on a long-term solution. Rural timber communities in Idaho have been operating in an environment of uncertainty for decades. Many public lands have been inaccessible due to federal policies and tedious litigation. We must find a long-term solution to empower rural counties and remove the uncertainty these communities are facing by allowing local management of forest lands. If you compare the stewardship of state lands in Idaho to adjoining federal lands, the difference is astonishing. This past fire season shows the disparity. In 2012, a record fire year, 20% of the national acreage burned was in Idaho. Of the approximately 1.5 million acres burnt in Idaho, only 4,674 acres burnt on state-managed lands. The remainder was on federally managed lands. As we look to the reauthorization of county payments to SRS, the House continues to push for firm management of our public lands as a factor in the equation. I commend the Chairman for his work on this issue, and I look forward to working with you as we advance legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and leftover committee members. I look forward to this opportunity to visit on H.R. 1294. The H.R. 1294 was a brainchild of 5 Idaho County commissioners. We sat down recognizing that there's a serious budget issue coming down the pike for the federal government, and we recognized that the SRS payments were not going to continue forever. And I applaud the leadership of our representative, Raúl Labrador, in authorizing this legislation, which is our brainchild. Idaho County is a small little county in Idaho, which is the largest county in Idaho. It consists of 5.5 million acres, which 4.5 million are managed or not managed by the federal government. So federal lands is a really serious issue for my county in aspects of services and roads and our schools. And the up and down reauthorization cycles of the SRS payments has really been hard for budgeting purposes. In fact, my school back home just introduced their levy not knowing what next year's payment is going to be or if it's going to be. In the aspect of the testimony that I would like to make, I just note that we have worked very hard to try to find solutions. We have been very supportive of the SRS payment, and it is essential for continuing the necessary services. I myself participate in the Clearwater Basin Collaborative, a collaborative group that started 5 years ago. I've been participating for 4 years, and I'm very supportive of it. However, 4 years down the line, literally 5 years for others, it still hasn't produced anything significant. And it hasn't. The collaborative process has brought a lot of players to the table. However, we are still bound by this broken federal system which hinders the Forest Service. And I'd just like to note that I do appreciate Chief Tidwell and his crew for their willingness to sit at the table with us and be a partner in trying to move things forward. However, I do recognize that their hands are tied by that broken system. One way or the other, the federal lands are going to be managed by Mother Nature and fire, or we can do it, and we can control the environmental issues that come along with massive fires. This last year, and it has been stated that we've canceled football games and practices because of air quality. And I want to note that this isn't just a place that I want to go visit. This is my backyard. I just got done planting 500 white pine trees up above beyond my house. I have the confluence of the South Fork and the Clearwater River down in front of my house. I love going fishing with my son. I want to protect the environment, but at the same time, we need to have active management so our communities will thrive. In closing, I'm willing to come to the table and work with anybody to help find a final solution, other than standing around with our hands out and making multiple trips back here trying to talk you folks into giving us more money. I grew up in an economy where the schools thrived when we were harvesting timber on national lands, and we received money via the 25% fund. So I know it'll work. If you hand us the authority to manage our lands, we will have a thriving economy, as well as we will protect our air, our water, and our backyard. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'd stand for questions.